Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. This is Joseph Greco with Auxilium, the Ignited Podcast, episode number 6 with the Miles Stallard. I'm very excited for today's special guest. The best water comes from the top of the mountain, and I hope that you all are as ready to drink it up as I am. Mr. Stallard is a super successful entrepreneur, keynote speaker, coach, business owner, and so much more, as we'll learn as we go through the interview. And this podcast is all about inspiring you to go after your dreams, to claim your life, your true self, and to unlock your potential to do great things. So I'm humbled and very, very ready to dive in tonight and to go over some of the amazing things Mr. Stallard accomplished in his walk with success. Now, as you all know, I love to share a quote before we get started on our interviews. Today's quote comes from Tony Robbins. If you do what you've always done, you'll get what you've always got. How's it going, Mr. Stallard? Hey, how's it going?
Fantastic. How are you?
Doing great. So happy to have you on here. And I was doing the intro, I was sharing an awesome quote from Tony Robbins, actually.
Yeah. What quote is that?
So the one that I shared, I always share a quote before we get rolling on my interviews. And one of the most powerful ones I've heard from him is, if you do what you've always done, then you'll get what you've always gotten. Just resonates so much. And even like hearing you speak in a lot of our one-on-one conversations, you always talk about, the definition of insanity, doing the same thing over and over and over again, expecting different results. So that's just something that correlates with that quote and touches home a lot. So
love it.
Yeah, brother. How's things in Dallas?
Amazing, man. Well, as of right now, the weather is a little bit gloomy, but other than that, man, it's been incredible, man. Obviously with the COVID and the the coronavirus and everything that's going on, things were a little weird for a little bit, and they're kind of getting weird again. But for the most part, man, COVID for our family and our business and really, I mean, I've liked it. It's been an unfortunate blessing to say the least, but it's been good. It's been good. It's really brought our whole family as a whole, not just my immediate family, but like everybody kind of together. So it's pretty cool how the distancing has brought a lot of people, back together. Plus it's gotten a lot of people outside, you know what I mean? So it's pretty cool.
No, I definitely agree with that. And I think that's even being in Europe, over here, I know you've been here, you just have a different sense of humanity, and I think the whole world's experiencing that because of this. It's a bad thing, but it's like you take rotten fruit and you make fertilizer and it helps everything grow better. So it could be a bad situation, but there's a lot of growth, as you said, and with other people I've talked to, that comes from it. And I think the world as a whole will come out better as a result of this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm extremely excited to go through these questions with you. And I've always loved everything you've brought to the table, whether it's on stage, back room, or one-on-one, and so forth. So again, I wanted to take a second moment and thank you for all those times years ago and up until today that you've been a mentor, a coach, and set forth. So I definitely appreciate you and also taking the time tonight.
Absolutely.
So in Kiani, where I met you, the man, the legend, we hear you coming on stage, it's like the main event. So it's always an honor. And if there was ever a microphone big enough for the whole world to hear, you'd be the one who would need to be speaking for sure. So tell me, how does it feel for you? You're a multimillionaire, you're an unfathomably successful entrepreneur, successful coach, mentor. You've helped so many people reach their own goals and just turned a positive light on someone. I think the mind and a human heart is like a lantern. It's meant to be lit, but it takes the right person with the right torch to light that sometimes. And I mean, you've lit torches in my own life, and so many people I've talked to that we've crossed paths with. And you're a business owner. The list doesn't even end. What does that feel for you as a whole to have all that in your life?
Yeah. I mean, I guess it feels good, accomplished, that's a good way to put it. But also, I feel very blessed, very, I guess blessed would be a good word, but I'm also not satisfied where I'm at either. It's one thing, I've accomplished a lot of things. I've helped a lot of people accomplish a lot of things, and I think that's what I'm mostly proud of. So there's a lot of pride in, what I've been able to do and accomplish. But like I said, man, this is just the beginning. This is absolutely not where I want to be. This is not where I want to stay. So I feel very blessed, but I'm also not satisfied where I'm at. I got a lot of goals I still want to meet, a lot of things I still want to do, and a lot of people that I still want to help. So I would say, that's where I'm at. That's what it feels like. And I think anybody that's, in my position or much higher have done, much more than I have. I think that they would all agree in with saying that they probably feel about the same way, blessed but not satisfied.
Amen. I love that. Blessed but not satisfied. And that's something that I always, to clients and just friends, anyone, even myself often, is that greatness is a life mission. It's, you have to eat every day. I'm a fitness coach, nutrition coach, so talk a lot about diet and whatnot. And you spread your meals out, you're constantly getting hungry. And I think it correlates with success, as you're saying, where, I mean, just like you have to feed your body, you have to keep training to keep your muscles in shape, you have to just keep going with your dreams and your goals. And my own life, I've had a dream to come live in Europe, and I've accomplished that. So I was just telling a friend the other day, I had a list of these huge dreams that to me, they seemed fathoms deep, like impossible. And then I just did little tiny steps to accomplishing those dreams and eventually reach them. And they're like, well, are you satisfied? No, I have, by accomplishing those dreams, the same as you, it calls me and stirred in me a desire to go after and create new dreams. And I don't know if you ever read the book. It's called The Dream Giver.
I actually have not read that one yet, but I'm very familiar with it.
Yes, yes. How the whole idea is kind of going on what we're saying. So I kind of love that. Man of faith like yourself, I believe everyone has a purpose and a gift, and that gift can be used to change. It doesn't matter, one life, millions of lives. But it's just kind of the start of another. You hand that gift off, that dream off, and then there's just more to come with it. So it's awesome. I hope that everyone soon finds that feeling in their life where they have accomplished, they have a feeling of accomplishment, like you said, blessed but not satisfied. It's a perfect way of describing it. So I started this podcast with, one mission: to ignite people's dreams, to ignite them to become better mentally, physically, motivate them to be their best, do their best, believe their best. And one of the biggest questions that I have personally when I ask people and other people ask me and so forth is, what's the deal changer? A lot of people can go after their dreams, but they often feel like they're attacking a tree with a pillow, and it's like the tool that you use to accomplish what you're trying to accomplish is just as important as your desire. So tell me, or tell us, what was that for you, and what can others do to find that and to emulate what you've accomplished?
What I would say is, more than anything, and this is something I train on a lot lately. My mentor brought this up about a year ago, and it's simple. It's one word, and it's one word that if you understand it, and if you have, sorry about that, I had a call come in, but it's one thing, that one word, and if you understand it, and you take action, and you have it. I mean, you can make anything come true. And the word is grit. Simply put, just grit. Having the tenacity to keep going when you feel like nothing is happening. Nothing is going your way. But to keep on going, to keep spinning your wheels. I tell everybody, when it comes to success in life, depending on what you're doing, but really I believe this is probably everything. But in all my different businesses I'm involved in and what I got going on, the way I train is, it's kind of like being stuck in the mud. You're in a pickup truck, you're in a car, you're stuck in the mud, you're spinning your wheels, you're spinning your wheels, you're spinning your wheels, and it doesn't feel like you're getting out, right? But when you're stuck in the mud, right, if your car's stuck in the mud, what you're going to do is you're going to stay on the gas, you're going to turn the wheel, you're going to do everything you can to fight to get out of that rut, because it just takes one little stick that you hit, one little rock to hit to pop you out of that rut, right? But see, in life, what most people do is when they're spinning their wheels, they start to slow down. When they're spinning the wheels, they eventually let their foot up off the gas. And what happens then, right? You just sink further down into the hole. And I feel like that's what so many people do, and I think that's the difference between the 95% and the 5%, or even the 5% and the 1%, is the tenacity and the grit to keep pushing forward when you feel like it's not going your way, and to stay in the game, and you guys always hear it. Everybody always hears it. There's no such thing as failure. You either quit or you succeed. And the reality is, it's not just quitting. You quit too soon, because you never know when that one thing is going to come along that is going to pop you out of the rut, that's going to make you fly. But yet everybody quits right before they get to that one point. So I would say, never give up, never quit. Every financial guru, every personal development coach, everybody's going to tell you to never quit, to always stay in the game, and to always push forward. And I was talking to one of my, my partners, somebody that I mentor, somebody that I'm very close with. He's on the younger end of things. A lot of people would consider me pretty young, but he's 21, and I'm 29, by the way, if you guys didn't know that. But he's 21, and he was talking about moving on from one project to the other, because the one project just it wasn't panning out the way that he thought it was going to. And the way I explained it to him, I said, look, there's a big difference between moving on and quitting. You're not moving on. You're going from one project to the other because the one project is getting too hard. And you've only been on this one project for not even a year yet. So you're not moving on, you're quitting. I tell everybody, and Jim Rohn says, and this is a quote that I absolutely love. He says, never stop what you're doing for something else until you double what you're doing with that something else, right? And that's the way I explained it. I said, look, you're quitting this thing because it's getting too hard. Don't leave that one thing that you're pursuing for something else until that something else outweighs that, because now you're just going from one situation, maybe one hard game that you're trying to play, for another hard game. What's going to happen whenever you get into the same exact situation with this new project that you're working on? What are you going to do when that gets hard? You got to keep pushing. You got to have grit. You got to have the tenacity. And I think that's one thing that sets me apart, and why I've been able to have the success in the different ventures that I've done when some people haven't, is just simply the fact that I don't give up, and I think a lot of it had to do with the way I was raised. My parents never let me give up. My parents never let me quit. Any sport that I was in, any project that I've ever done, growing up, my parents made me see it through until the end. And especially when it comes to, sports, I feel and I see so many athletes, or a lot of people that are successful in the world, they were once athletes, growing up. And I do believe, especially as a parent, if you're a parent, you're listening to this and you're watching this, get your kids into sports. I think that's one of the best things that you can do as a parent is get your kids into sports so that they can understand what it feels like to have that grit, what it feels like to have to push forward when things are down, because your coach is never going to let you quit. You may be down by a certain number of points. You may be getting your butt absolutely whooped, but your coach is never going to let you quit. And that's one thing that I think is important that people have to understand is if you want to be successful in anything that you do, you got to suck it up, man. You can't be a pansy. You can't be a wimp. you got to keep pushing. You got to keep grinding until something happens, because eventually it's going to happen. But if you give up, you're never going to see it happen. And oftentimes, and I've already said this, but you just quit right before you make it happen. There's a picture, there's a meme that I always see that goes around where this guy's striking for gold. He's striking for gold. And he turns around right when he's probably 1 or 2 strikes away from striking the gold or the diamonds or whatever it is. And I feel like it's so many people in this world is they give up right before they have their breakthrough. And you got to always understand, you're right there at your breakthrough. You are right there always. So, and you can't slow down. You know what I mean? To me, if you slow down, you've already quit. Because when you slow down, it's just a downward spiral. Everything in life it's all built off of momentum, right? And you always have to be kicking that ball uphill, because if you're not kicking the ball uphill, that ball is going to roll back downhill, because momentum works positive and negative, both ways. And if you're not always keeping that momentum going forward, it's going to roll down a lot faster than you can possibly kick it up. So you always got to keep driving. You got to keep going forward. Have that grit.
That's so key. And man, so Sharon Letcher, she wrote a book. So it's just perfect what you just said, segue from that. It's called 3 Feet from Gold. And the meme is like, it had to have been like made from this book. And in this book, it's a true story. It's about a guy who, basically, to summarize it, he was in California in a gold rush, and he was searching for gold. He was successful for a while, but he stopped because he finally ran out. They got all the gold out of it. But he was literally 3 feet from a fissure that was the largest gold segment in the area. And he sold all his equipment and walked away from it, and found out later the guy that found it hired a specialist who figured out this whole distance that he missed it by, and he became one of the wealthiest gold miners ever. So this book is perfect, because he was only 3 feet away from the largest fortune you could have ever imagined, and he gave up, like you said, right at that time. He quit right before he hit big. So I think if we're not gonna do what we're meant to do and break through with whatever we're working towards, someone else is going to. So are we gonna harness it or are we not? I mean, the world's gonna get what the world wants as far as what's meant to happen. If it's you, me, you have I think everyone does have the opportunity. The door is open, but it's just a matter of standing up and walking around the door and realizing that you're not locked in. You're in an open field, and you just need to take the step to get up, open your eyes, and walk through, walk on. That was powerful, man. I love that whole thing, the grit. And sports, I agree. I played sports my entire life, and it correlates and it shows with you that, you have awesome parents, because, obviously, the son, the daughter can be, if you have bad parents, you still end up being great, obviously. But if you have tremendous parents, then it's going to show. And it clearly shows in your life, your tenacity, and the fact that your parents put you in sports, my parents put me in sports. I 100% agree. It teaches you not only all the things you mentioned, but triumph and failure. And like Maxwell says, you fail forward. And in sports, one of the greatest coaches in LA talks about how, I forget the exact percentage, but a huge percentage of games that are won after halftime. They're won in the locker room. The coach gets back there and he talks about, hey, have fun, but you're at a point now where you're either going to lose, keep doing what you're doing, or you're going to step it up and put some more points on the board, play some better defense, and take this thing home.
Yeah, that's good.
So much. So next question. You were 24. I remember taking notes. I think we're in San Diego. 24, you walked away from a 6-figure job. You're guaranteed for something that's obviously a bridge in the fog for most people, network marketing. So with that, though, you tripled your 6-figure income in 3 months. Is that right?
Correct. Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. Talk about dream big. So, I mean, there had to have been an immense amount of fear or doubt or something going on in your head at that time. Maybe not, but for me, there definitely would be. And the courage it takes to take that kind of a risk, as necessary as it may be to accomplish big things, the comfort of what was guaranteed to something that is a huge risk, but could pay an even bigger reward. It takes that tenacity, Tom. It takes that grit. But what was going on in your head, and what enabled you to make that decision and to step up without knowing if the step was going to be there or not?
Yeah, man, I love that. And one thing that I live my life by a lot of quotes. And one thing that I really do live my life by is the greatest risk in life is the one you don't take.
Powerful.
You know, and I'm very aggressive with that. I'm always thinking about that with almost everything that I do, because a lot of opportunities come across my plate. And I do also believe, obviously, you know, success also depends on your ability to know when to say no. But I will say, you know, I've already accomplished the six-figure position, right? I was 24. I conquered the six-figure position. I realized how easy it really is to make six figures, because a lot of people, you know, they're fighting to hit that six-figure mark. But the reality is a lot of people are fighting for that six-figure mark without doing what they're capable of doing. You know, they're hoping that it falls in their lap, opposed to them going out and getting it, right? You know, so that job, by the way, the six-figure job, I was a commercial and residential claims specialist. I ran catastrophe claims independently. And so what it was, I was a W-2 employee for an independent firm. Now, if you know anything about claims and insurance, independent adjusters make a lot more money than W-2 adjusters. But W-2 adjusters also have the benefits, and they're kept busy all year round. Now, as an independent adjuster, you only work a season, right? Storm season. So you might work 6 months and then have 6 months off. So you make a lot of money in that 6 months, but you'll have 6 months off, right? And so, and it took me forever, by the way, because out of college, man, it took me probably a year to land a job, because as we all know, everybody's experiencing this right now, employers, the corporate world, they're not hiring most people unless they have experience, which is weird to me, because how in the world are you supposed to get experience if you don't have experience? If that's the only way they hire. And so it took me a long time, because what was happening for that year, I was waiting for it to fall into my lap. I was sending out resumes. And for a year, I was sending out resumes every single day and never landing the job. And any of the jobs that I would have landed would have been a $30,000 to $50,000 a year job. And then finally I said, you know what, screw this. Like, I'm done just sending out my resume. I'm going to go door to door to all of these firms, and I'm going to go talk to the head guy. See, this is the difference between a lot of people. You know, the ones that have the success are the ones that are going to say, you know what, I'm going to figure this out. I'm going to make it happen, instead of waiting around for something to happen for them. So I went door to door looking for this claims adjusting job that I wanted. And I literally went door to door, and I went to one of the first places actually that I went to. I went in there, I wanted to talk to the head guy, and sure enough, I set up a meeting for like the next 2 or 3 days or whatever. I got the meeting set up, but still during those 3 days, I was still going to all of these places trying to talk to the top people. And finally I had that meeting. That was the first actual sit down meeting that I had. And the fact that I went in to get this job, instead of just sending out resumes, and instead of just giving the resume to the front desk, he goes, no, I want you to talk to whoever is running the ship here. I want to talk to the head honcho. That's who I want to talk to, because I want to get this job. And sure enough, I got the job. Now, the job that I got was way beyond my ability. Like, it paid me way more. And this was before I was actually making six figures.
Right.
But once I got the job, once I started working, one thing that I will also tell you is, if you want to be successful, get good at building relationships. Relationships, I believe, are probably the strongest thing that you can do to take you to the next level. I'm a huge believer in mentorship. You know, I would not be where I'm at if I didn't have the people coaching me and teaching me to get me to where I'm at. And anyway, so when I started working there, I built a relationship with, his name's Gary, by the way. And I built a relationship with Gary, and every single day I was kind of hinting to him and pushing him to give me this specific W-2 job. So I was an independent adjuster working inside at this time, and I was pushing him to give me this full-time position as a W-2 independent adjuster, which means I was being paid like an independent, but I was kept busy year-round. And this is a job too, by the way, that most people, it takes several years. I'm talking 10 plus years. There was guys in that office that were working at that office for over 10 years, looking for the same job.
Here comes you.
I built a relationship. I pushed. I made it happen, and I got aggressive with making it happen, right? So I ended up getting that job, and I was actually working my way up that ladder. And yeah, that was one thing is when I started the network marketing industry, it was, I started off I saw the vision, I saw the proof. I mean, the reality is a lot of people don't realize this, but network marketing, the amount of success that industry creates is unfathomable. I mean, the amount of people making ridiculous amounts of money in the industry as a whole, you're not going to find it anywhere else. And I saw that, and I saw a lot of people winning on a very high level. I had very quick success because, again, I had the same attitude, the same mentality of make it happen, whatever it takes, right? And sure enough, after that 3-month mark, where I had that success, and again, Jim Rohn says, don't ever quit your full-time job until you double it with something else, right? And that's basically what I did. I waited until I got to a certain point, and I said, you know what? This is freedom. I had a high-paying job, but I wasn't free. I was working for somebody else. I was working to make somebody else's dreams come true rather than my own, and I was working 80-plus hours a week to do that, right? I'm making somebody else's, like that. My boss, okay, was probably sitting on the beach, going on vacation, taking family on vacation, making millions of dollars off of my hard work, right? And, and that's kind of whenever I kind of came to my senses. I was like, man, I got to do this for myself. I can't be working for somebody. And I'm glad that I realized that when I was 24 opposed to 34, 44, 54, 64. Because the reality is most people these days are going to work until the day that they die. It's heartbreaking to me to see, 80-year-old women or 90-year-old men that are working, as greeters at Walmart or working behind the cashier at Starbucks, when the reality is they should be retired. They should be, I saw somebody at that Starbucks that probably should have been in a nursing home, but yet she has to work. And this is the world that we live in, man. And I realized I got to do something, and I figured, if I made it to this, it wasn't hard. As soon as I made the decision to go find the job that I wanted, I found it. And I encourage everybody that listens to this and watches this to understand that if you want something bad enough, you're gonna make it happen. If you don't want it bad enough, you're not gonna make it happen. I mean, it's just how bad you really, really want it. I tell everybody, if you're not where you want to be, it's because you literally just don't want it bad enough. Stop pretending like you want it bad enough, because if you truly did, you would already be there. And it's as simple as that. And man, and I realized I already made 6 figures. I can always go get that 6-figure job back. I had nothing to lose. And that's whenever I say, let's go all in on this. And that was the best decision I've ever made, by the way, because joining the network marketing industry has allowed me to become a venture capitalist and angel investor. So I invest in startups, established businesses, real estate. I also have my own nonprofit, and it's allowed me to do so many things. But what I will say, network marketing is without a doubt my favorite industry in the world. It has my heart. I will always be a die-hard advocate for the network marketing industry all the way. I mean, it's an absolute blessing, because if I did not join the network marketing industry, I would not have the skills, the personal development, the knowledge, the network to do all the amazing things that I'm doing now. And again, it's just the beginning for me, and it was that risk, it was knowing that if I didn't take the risk, if I did not take that risk, I'd probably still be a claims adjuster, thinking that I was living the dream as a 6-figure earner. But the reality is, if you guys listen to this, if your goal is to make 6 figures, let me tell you now, 6 figures is not going to make any dreams come true that you want to come true. 6 figures is not enough money to live the life that you probably are thinking that it can provide for you. 6 figures is not a lot of money these days. And I am so grateful that I found the network marketing industry and that I took that risk, because, again, I'd be living what I thought was the dream, and that dream was to make somebody else's dreams come true.
That's amazing. That's amazing. I mean, that's just what you said about time, too. Like, time is, to me, as you're saying, with your family and spending time with them, and then your boss on the beach, basically you're doing everything. You're running the ship, and you're not really getting to reap the benefits of that. The time is the most expensive currency, I think, in life, and that's the one thing we can't get back. I wrote my book, The Memory, and part of the the book's a fiction story, but the reason why I chose that title is because I believe in, the power of the moment. And I believe that, life is full of moments, and more so than the dollar or any money or anything like that is like to die empty. It's another book I read. And by that meaning, you've emptied all of your potential. You've pursued your dreams and your callings. You've had the experiences, and you didn't waste your life. I truly think it is wasting. Like you said, these old people at Starbucks working, it's sad. And you just are on this hamster wheel, and the life that you deserve and you should be living is going on around you. But you're so focused on this system that society kind of places on us that you lose that. And I think, like you said, I believe in that as well. The network marketing is a way, a portal, if you will, to step outside of this. And C.S. Lewis is one of my favorite writers, and he writes once one of his books where he talks about life as, he said, imagine your life as a timeline on a piece of paper. And imagine you are above this timeline in any moment, and you're looking down at it. He said that is the most powerful way to look at your life, meaning that your life is not some infinite thing. It will end. So it's up to you to fill from beginning to the end with your experiences and whatnot. If you don't, then it's the only person really to blame is yourself. So another thing that it brought me to is my favorite writer is Paulo Coelho. And he is a good example of this because passive income, network marketing obviously is huge because of its ability to offer passive income. And you've quoted this. I've read and heard it from you that you're really not making it. You're really not truly wealthy until you're making money when you're sleeping. You know what I mean? You got to be having that passive income. Like writing a book for me was, I wrote the book to inspire people and everything, but obviously you do it for, in some words, to make money. So the passive income that comes with that is more beneficial than working a 9 to 5, being stuck in a salary that has a ceiling. And so Paulo Coelho, he didn't even publish his first book till he was 38 years old. And then that was The Pilgrimage. And then he wrote The Alchemist after that, which is really what gained his fame. And from there, he started off late. You've got even way above him, but he's one of the most successful authors in the world. And he's wrote so many more books since then. His dream was to travel the world. He's done it. He's done it now. He's still doing it. So it's never really too late. And I think that traps people, and people listening who are like, older than we are. And I think we both have, a bottle full of vitality still in life, but some people are 50, 60, 70, whatever it may be. It's not the end. If you're still breathing, you still can go somewhere. You still can get in there and get involved, and your dreams are not over. You see a lot of old men driving the sports car, right? So I love those. I love seeing those guys in the convertible, 80-year-old there. Go you. It's your dream to have a sports car, and you're doing it. You're living that dream. You're feeling the intoxication that comes from writing something down and dreaming it and then living it. I think that the difference between two people is there's dreamers and there's visionaries. And I think dreamers only ever live their dreams in their head. Everything's inside their head. And I think visionaries, people that have a vision, take their dreams and they act on it, like you, for example. And you create your dream in real life. You live your dream. So I think there's so much power in what you said. I love your story. And I know everyone listening is going to take that. And I pray that they act. They don't just listen, that they become mobile with what they're learning here and what you're teaching. So I love that, man. I appreciate you getting deep with us there and sharing those insights. So right on. And speaking of that, you recently posted a post and you said, if it seems too good to be true, then it might just be that good. And, we both on the Hackney expression, if it's too good to be true, then it's not, whatever. It's not true at all, because a lot of people use this expression and so many others in life as backwards to their dreams, or excuses, better yet. So for you, how would you say we can tear down these beliefs that society has kind of like ingrained in our heads after so many years of believing them? How do we melt this away and create a new foundation to kind of work off of?
Yeah. What I would say is use your own thinking. Stop relying on everybody else's opinions for your own. You need to make your own opinions. You need to pay attention to what's being told to you, what's being taught to you, and who are you taking the advice from. There's a lot of saying that we as a society live by that is so ridiculous that, I mean, it's what's holding this world back. And that is one thing that I would say. If it seems too good to be true, it probably is. Like, that is the most false statement. If I would have believed that when I first saw the network marketing industry, I wouldn't be where I am today. That's one thing that I will say about network marketing. And network marketing wouldn't be a secret about how amazing it is if it wasn't for that one statement. If it seems too good to be true, probably is. But a lot of people look at network marketing and they think that, oh, it's not real. It doesn't work. It's all fluff. It's all this. Guys, it's not. You know what I mean? And a lot of things that you think are too good to be true, they're not too good to be true. They are. I mean, they're real. The reason why I said that, if it seems too good to be true, it probably is just that good, is because, again, my life was changed because of something that seemed to be too good to be true. My life right now seems to be too good to be true, but yet it's as real as it gets. And, there's a lot of things, man, that there's a lot of sayings. One of them, one saying that I hate, man, I hate it so bad because it gives everybody a false idea of success, is the biggest one of all: money doesn't buy happiness. Man, what a crock of crap, man. That is
it's horrible.
Horrible statement in the world. Money, absolutely. Okay, now money, nothing buys happiness is a choice, right? That's you deciding if you're gonna be happy or not. But money buys everything that can make you happy. Because without money, you're not gonna be happy. You're gonna be hungry. You're gonna be starving. Your life's gonna be horrible. Without money, you have nothing. You know what I mean? And it's going to be very hard to be happy without money. Now, you can always be happy because, again, it's a decision. But when you're starving and you're hungry, you're not going to be very happy. When your kids are struggling because of you having a lack of money, dude, that's a problem. You know what I mean? And one of my mentors said, money might not buy happiness, but I've never seen anybody frowning or crying on a jet ski. And it's so true. You know what I mean? Like, it's I will say right now that money absolutely buys things that make you happy. I mean, without money, life doesn't go around. You have to have currency, and without it, you're not going to be very happy. Now, I also understand, like I said before, it doesn't actually buy happiness. Nothing buys happiness, because that's a feeling and that's a decision. But it's a lot easier to be happy with money than it is without. So you just gotta, anything that you hear, anything that you live by, you gotta pay attention to it, because there's a lot of things like that that we are fed, that we are taught, that we're taught to pay attention to, that is not necessarily true. And you need to make the decision for yourself, because if not, you're going to be living what somebody else told you to live, when if you would have just made the decision for yourself, you'd be a whole lot better off. My mentor said, don't ever take advice from somebody that you would not trade places with. And man, that's something too that I live by. If you're going to give me advice, I'll take it and I'll listen to it and I'll observe it always, no matter what. But I'm gonna reciprocate a lot better if you're somewhere where I'd want to be. You know what I mean? So, I have a lot of financial advisors that are always trying to give me financial advice, and I tell them, every single one of them, look, if you're going to teach me how to handle my money, you need to be making more money than me, and you have to have a better future plan than I already have. If that's not the case, then I can't take your advice. And that's got me out of a lot of situations, because I have financial advisors literally every single day hit me up trying to get my business. But again, unless you can show me that you're doing better than me, then financially, then I can't take your advice. I'm going to take somebody's advice. That is where I want to be. You know what I mean? So just pay attention. Use your common sense. Stop just accepting society's way of thinking, because again, society teaches you to go to school, get a good grades, go to college, pass college, go get a job in the corporate world at 9 to 5. And luckily, thank goodness that we're starting to wake up to that. You know what I mean? Like that's not the real world. I mean, if you want to be financially free, working 40 hours a week for 40 years, to hopefully retire 40% of your income, guys, they say retirement these days is a fairy tale. You know, college graduates aren't even expected to graduate until at least the age of college graduates aren't expected to retire until at least the age of 75 if they go into the corporate world, which is crazy as that is. They also say Social Security is expected to be gone by 2033. Okay, so society is teaching us to go down this dead-end road when, you know, if you were an entrepreneur, you do things yourself. And by the way, I'm not a hater on college. In fact, college was great for me because I met the people who got me to where I'm at through college, you know, through the universities. But I will say that the schooling part of it, my college, I don't even know where my degree is. And by the way, that job, the claims adjusting, the insurance job that I was looking for, that I had to have a college degree, okay, to make $40,000 to $50,000 a year. Well, the job that I got, I didn't need my degree. Okay, I didn't need my degree for that, and now I was breaking six figures at 24. You know, and that's the, to me. And again, I support college, but I do think that it's definitely needs. There's some things that need to be fixed with the educational system. Because there's no reason why somebody should be $30,000 to $130,000 in debt that cannot get a job with their degree. Okay, I mean, most people these days, they're like me. They got their degree, they've never had to use it. Most of them don't even know where their degree is. Now, if you're going to be a doctor, lawyer, you know, something like that, something along those lines, of course, you have to go to school, makes sense. But most of us, we're going to school, we're going to getting our degree because our parents said that we had to. You know, we're getting our degree because society says that we have to if we want to make a living. And that is absolutely not true at all. If you are an undecided major in college, that is your first clue that you need to get the heck out and you need to start building your own future. Because if you don't know what you're going to be, you know, because of college, your degree is going to be irrelevant to you. Okay, you have to know exactly what you're going to college for. If you're going to school, that's just my opinion. Take it or leave it. But I had to point that out because, again, I wouldn't be where I'm at if I would have listened to what society is always teaching us.
No, you can just drop the mic now. I mean, that answer that takes it home right there. And I think that, you know, people of all ages really, but especially you mentioned the college the undecided majors is it's a myriad of people. So I think that, you know, first of all, they need to DM your inbox, first of all. But I couldn't agree more. And about the money thing, we went back to that real quick, is, you know, you even look at the people that, a lot of the people who are still moral people who commit wrongs, and they do it for a just cause to provide for their family. So their morality was breached because of the need for money to provide for their kids, which, you know, do you hate the guy for stealing bread to feed his son? Not really, but it's still wrong. But it proves the point what you said. It's not buying happiness. It's just a necessity. You need it like you need water, you need air. And I look at it as, you know, look at a horse and a jockey, where your problems are money. Make money the horse. You have to be a jockey. You have to be in control of it, and you can win races in life. But if you are a bad jockey, you're never going to win. Your horse is probably going to go sideways, or it's not going to even go anywhere because you're not training with it. You're not preparing for the race of life, whatever you're trying to accomplish. So I think it's a matter of, like you said, you're going to advisors, you talk about that, but they have to be somewhere further along than you are, where you want to be, to really give you sound advice, which I think is also very sound. If I want to learn anything, I want to be an expert in martial arts, I want Bruce Lee to train me. You know, I don't want the guy that never fought a day in his life to train me how to fight. It's just not, what is he going to teach me? So I think that's extremely valuable as well. And, you know, it's just, like I said, we could drop the mic right now and people are going to be fired up and motivated and have everything they need to kind of change directions and for the good, for the positive way. So that was a good one. So taking things to the next question, we talked a lot about success and where you're at now. But what has been the most difficult part of making it to this place? You got beautiful family, beautiful home, badass cars. You know, you're doing the things you love, helping other people. What would you tell those of us who maybe feel like we're drowning or are treading in circles? We really can't get to the point where we feel like we're on the dream way and we're moving towards the place where we want to be.
Man, that's good. And it kind of goes back to what I was saying before, is the hardest thing that I found is having the belief and having that grit to keep going whenever it doesn't seem like it's working out. For sure. I think that's probably the most challenging part is just being able to hold yourself accountable, to have that discipline, to get out of bed, to do the things that you know you need to do when you're just not seeing it, right? Man, that's the hardest part. I mean, I can talk for days literally about grit. I mean, that's my favorite thing to train on, like I was saying before, because it's so true. You know, everything that you're going through now, I mean, we all go through. You know, success is not easy. You know, success is not something that, you know, so many people think that successful people are just lucky. And dude, I don't care who you're looking at, unless they won the lottery. Success takes a lot of work, takes a lot of grit, takes tenacity, takes discipline, and takes that ability to do what you know you need to do to get it done. You know what I mean? Like, you know, Gary Vee said, I think it was Gary Vee, you know, if you're in a position where you just don't know where to start, right? And this is something too, this is actually how my nonprofit got started. If it wasn't for this, I probably wouldn't have my nonprofit right now. You might be in a position, so if you're listening to this, you might be in this situation right now of where you have a goal, you have a dream, you want to do something, but you just don't know where to start. And that right there is exactly where you have to start. You have to start by figuring out where to start. What's cool about this world, guys, we have Google. I mean, we have literally in our pocket right now, you guys probably have your phone within 3 feet from you, okay? And you have every single answer, every answer to any question known to man, literally 3 feet away from you right now. If you have a dream to start that nonprofit, or if you have a dream to start a business, you know, whatever it may be, and you don't know where to start, Google how to start this or that, whatever it is. And you're going to have a ton of answers for you, how to start. See, my nonprofit, I had no idea where to start my nonprofit. I've never been involved in the world. I had no idea how to do it, what to do. And when I heard that, I was like, how amazing is that? And I didn't just get on Google. What I did, I got on Facebook and I made a simple post and I said, has anybody ever started a nonprofit before? And if you know somebody, please tag them. I have a few questions. And literally, I had like 10 people that or way more than that probably, that plugged me in with people that have already started nonprofits. So I made those phone calls. Hey, I heard you started a nonprofit. I'm trying to start my nonprofit. What do I need to do? And they literally gave me the blueprint. They gave me the layout to do that. And
I remember when you posted that, actually.
I'm sorry, say that again?
No, I was saying, I remember when you posted that, and you posted another one within around the same time frame, where you said something about like people who are making a certain amount of money to message you. I think it was, I forget the post, but it was you were making a powerful point with that. But
yeah,
I remember when you posted that.
And that, guys, that's a great way to make. See, that's the difference. Again, that's the 95 and the 5%. The 5% are going to figure it out. The 5% are going to ask. 5% are not afraid to ask questions. And get on Facebook. You have a couple hundred, couple thousand friends that have the answers that you're looking for. You know, but most people are just going to accept, oh, I don't know what to do, so that's my excuse to not do anything. See, the reality is most people, they don't want to know because they don't want to have to get out of their comfort zone. I train on this all the time. Your key to success is your ability to get out of your comfort zone. Mm-hmm. If you can get out of your comfort zone, you can make anything happen in the world. Whatever it is, you can make happen, but you have to be willing to get out of your comfort zone, get uncomfortable, talk to those people that you're scared to talk to, ask those questions that you're scared to ask. If you can get out of your comfort zone, you can make anything happen. And just what you were just saying that I love is you mentioned not just my nonprofit quote, but yeah, I asked a question on Facebook. If you or anybody you know makes over, I believe it was $500,000 a month, I want to talk to you. You know what I mean? And I do. Why? Because at this stage, this was probably just a few months ago, I said,
Yeah.
I was thinking to myself, I need to build my network. I need to find people. I need to surround myself and build relationships with people that are more successful than me. Now, I don't make $500,000 a month right now. I'm not at that stage yet. But the only way I'm going to get to that stage is if I start surrounding myself with people that are already at that level or higher. So that's why I asked that question, simply because I want to build relationships with people at that level so that I have that network, so I have those connections, and I have that mentorship, and that's it. Guys, I can promise you, if you all you got to do is figure it out. Make the decision. Make the decision to get out of your comfort zone, because the chances are you know what you probably need to do to make your reality better than your dreams. It's just you're probably not comfortable getting out of your comfort zone to do so. So that's what I'd say to that.
No, I love that. And we're talking about your nonprofit, Apex Worldwide. So tell me, that was my next question, kind of perfect timing. Going a little bit briefly on what your main mission, basically your mission statement for Apex.
Yeah, I mean, our mission with Apex is that we're trying to build a warrior inside of every man and every woman to build an army to change the world, right? Like, because united, if we all come together, we can literally do anything in the world. We can change anything and everything. And so what we're doing with Apex, so Apex Worldwide is the nonprofit. Everybody that comes in, by the way, it's built literally just like a network marketing company, minus nobody's getting paid, right? It's a nonprofit, nobody's getting paid. It's all recognition based, but it's built like a network marketing company. To where you come in, it's $10 a month to be part of the army. It's $10 a month to be an Apex warrior. So it's all Greek mythology based off of that. So $10 a month, you're an Apex warrior. And as you recruit other warriors to join the mission, to join the cause, you start ranking up. The larger your donations grow, because again, if you brought in 10 other warriors at $10 a month, well, now you're $100 a month, right? And so you rank up. By the way, you can donate as much as you want. You can do $100 a month, $1,000 a month. You can do $1 million a month. I mean, it's totally up to you. But each threshold you hit, so if you're $10 a month, you're a warrior. Now, if your army is doing a total of $100 a month, whether you only brought on one person that donates $100, well, now you're doing $100 a month, and you rank up. So you go from warrior to gladiator to titan to Spartan to Olympian. So you rank all the way up to $10 million a month is our highest threshold. We're definitely not there yet, but we will be. And what's cool about this nonprofit is we don't cater to one thing. Okay. Our mission is every month and every quarter. Right now we're doing quarterly because we want larger donations.
Okay.
But right now, what we're doing though, and this is how the whole thing's built, is every month or every quarter we choose a different 501c3 nonprofit organization that we partner up with. So what we do, so every month it's a different mission, a different cause. So we've donated to, we've raised our proceeds and we've given our money and our funds and our proceeds to so many different nonprofits. I mean, A21 was one of my favorite ones. This quarter right now, as of tomorrow, we'll be giving our second quarter proceeds to Convoy of Hope, which is really cool. This is actually that nonprofit is the nonprofit that the network marketing company Kayani that I'm involved in. That is the partnership that we have with them, with our charity with Kayani, which is really cool. So, but Convoy of Hope is this month. We've done the Navy SEAL Foundation. There's so many different nonprofits. So if you have a nonprofit that you want us to raise proceeds for, let me know. Become a warrior, because again, what way we do it is as long as you are a gladiator, meaning that you have an army of at least $100 a month, you now have voting rights. So you get to vote on what nonprofit we're going to give our proceeds to, and you get to send in different nonprofits that you like to support. So maybe, one of our man, I could talk. I mean, there's so many. But anyways, if you have something that you love, a nonprofit that you love that you want us to raise our proceeds to, become a gladiator. vote on it, send your request in, and we'll vote on it as an army, anybody that's a gladiator or above. And if it wins, that's where the proceeds go. So every month it's something new.
No, I love that. That's awesome, especially having a Greek background, lineage, the Greek mythology and all that. And what I also love is that you, in essence, I'm pretty sure this is intentional, you also are teaching people the valuable lesson of, network marketing. And you're doing it for good cause, and that's even more powerful. And by helping out other people, with the nonprofit, you're also giving people the education to kind of emulate that in other sectors of their life, which I like even more. I want to include the links. So if you want to, after this call, send me a link when I post this to the site and the YouTube channel, etc. I'll include that in the description for sure, so people can get easily involved. So I definitely love that. So as a master trainer and nutrition coach, I can't stress enough to anyone, I come across the importance of solid fitness routine, good diet. You even say it yourself, health is the real wealth. And Billy Graham, one of my favorite quotes by him, he basically goes on, I'll give a piece of it, and he talks about if you lose your wealth, you lose nothing. And skip a little bit, he said if you lose your health, you lose something. But if you lose your character, you lose everything. So, character and health are just so vital and important in life. So, obviously keeping a good fitness and nutrition is essential. So I think having a solid fitness of mind is equally as important, kind of correlate with that character side. I know you work out on the regular, but what I'm interested in asking now on here for this interview is, what are you doing to put in those mental reps?
Yeah, so personal development. I every single day I do personal development. I'm all over YouTube. I'm all over books. I'm all over courses. I do believe that education, continuous education, is the key to a lot of things. Knowledge is the key to a lot of things. So simply put, and especially with fitness in general. Talk about mental reps. I believe fitness and health, it is the real wealth. I really believe that, and if you notice, when people care about who they are, when people care about their health, they typically are gonna have a better life. They're gonna have they're cleaner. You know what I mean? Their life is cleaner. And the way here's one thing too that you may have heard this before, but as a leader and a mentor, I tell my team and I tell anybody that I mentor, look, if I go out to your car right now and your car's wrecked, if it's trash, you got trash in your car, you don't care about your car. I know exactly where your life is going to be. I know where your success is. I know what your bank account's going to be like. And there's, you may say, oh, well, there's an exception. My car right now is trash, but I'm doing very well financially. But how you do anything is how you do everything. Now, that is one quote that I live by. I don't necessarily think that how you do one thing is how you do everything. I definitely think there's exceptions to that. I don't like to say exceptions, but I still like to live my life that way because I strive for perfection. Now, I know that not everybody's perfect. I get that. I know I'm not perfect. I never will be. But I am a man of faith, and Jesus is perfect. And there's nobody that I want to be more like than Jesus himself. And I will tell you that he was perfect in everything that he did. If he had a car, I bet his car would be spotless. If he had his house, I bet it was spotless. You know what I mean? I bet his life was spotless. I bet his health was on point. You know what I mean? It's how he did anything which was perfect was how he did everything which was perfect. So I believe that you always got to be striving to be the best that you can possibly be in every area. In every area, you gotta be the best, and be the best that you can possibly be. So do the personal development. Read those books. study, do those courses, figure out what it is that you're trying to do and learn how to do it from people that have already done it before you, and focus on it. You know what I mean? So that was a good question. I enjoyed that.
No, I enjoyed your answer too, and I love that. I want to kind of segue to skip ahead a couple questions real quick, or more statement better yet. So you're a man of faith, and I love that and respect that. I'm not religious, but I'm definitely a man of faith. I'm very spiritual, and I think there's a power to having a strong faith and a spiritual life. And I've read the Bible a couple times, read the Quran, the Torah, and one of my favorite verses. I'm trying to remember the exact book it's in, but it says, in essence, you have to have the right. You have to have ears to hear, eyes to see, and I think heart to receive. Basically, it's talking more spiritual, but I think that it can correlate into anything in life, success, that we have to kind of attune our senses, if you will, to the right things to accomplish our goals, and kind of be ready to receive those things. And I think that kind of will correlate. You have a nice car, you have your fitness, your health, everything will be in order when you have a good spiritual health, when you're connected with, you're open to receiving the good things in life. And I shared something the other day on my Instagram, and I watched a video. I love watching a medical base. I love watching medical stuff, neurology, etc. And this guy was on there talking about things about the mind, and it made me thinking. And I shared a quote that I kind of was inspired from listening to this. And I said that if you think positive today, you'll remember positive tomorrow. So it's just talking about your neurological tracks in your mind. If you keep, it's like a woodpecker, he pecks, and he eventually finds home. So if you keep creating those tracks, neurological tracks in your mind, your neurons are going to get used to it. And it shows pictures and images of literally your mind creates tracks or paths, and they're emotional, your limbic system, etc., or they can be physical. These, in this sense, it's emotional. So you can literally create pathways in your mind that are for positivity and positive momentum in your life, and your body remembers them. So, for example, when you smell certain things, you get happy because it reminds you. It's your limbic system firing those paths. So there's so much power in spirituality. I think that, personally, I believe you can only visit certain levels of connectivity with, your dream, yourself, etc., when you have that connection with you. You still everything else. And the verse in the Bible again is, let go and let God, as the expression one says, right? So be still and know that I'm God. So it's in something similar in a lot of different texts, and that's powerful because you just stop everything else, stop worrying about anything, and focus on one thing, and that trains the mind to bring it up to a certain level of just serenity and focus. So I love that, how strong and how essential faith is, and you're evidence of it as well. And then so many more successful people, I've learned that almost all of them have a high sense of spirituality. So I highly agree with the importance of having that. So the next question I have for you is, what was your dream as a child? So what was the life you envisioned before you kind of were, not I want to say corrupted by society or anyone like that, or influences anywhere else, but what was that one thing you've always been fired up about, that you were like, oh, when I grow up, I want to do this?
Yeah, I think almost everybody is similar. We when we were kids, we all had these big dreams whenever we were young. But as we grow up and as we go into the real world and society breaks into us, those dreams change. They don't just change, but they diminish, right? They get smaller because society teaches us that the chances of those dreams of coming true are not likely to come true. And so I would say whenever I was younger, my dream starting off was really to be a professional athlete. That's what I really wanted to do. I wanted to become a professional athlete. Baseball was probably the number one sport that I was looking at. And that was kind of my dream all the way up until high school. And then eventually that dream kind of started getting, kind of taken away, and that was my dream. And in reality, once after I got through the high school, sorry, I had another comment. But as I went
Popular
off
guy.
and started growing up, success, man. I just wanted to be successful. In a sense, though, not to where I even am today. Like my reality now is better than my dreams have ever been, by a long shot. Especially because my vision of the future is so much bigger than it ever was. But I wanted that white picket fence. I wanted to raise my family the way that my parents raised our family. And I grew up in a very successful family. I grew up in a very loving family. My parents are still together. They've been married for 35, 36 years. Very loving family. I mean,
Awesome.
I've been very blessed from a family, from the family aspect of things, for sure. And so that's kind of all I really wanted. Once the baseball dreams and the big dreams, got diminished, I was like, okay, well, let's settle for what I know, we can do. And that was that white picket fence, right? Well, the white picket fence is we've already gone way past that, and it's that I don't know. I mean, that's where I'm excited to be where I'm at today, because again, I live a great life now. Like I said at the very beginning of this interview, that very blessed but not satisfied. But what's cool about this is my dreams and my goals are so big that most people, that don't have the personal development, that haven't been surrounded by the world that I've been surrounded by, they don't believe those dreams can be true for themselves. And what I want everybody to understand is whatever you think is possible for anybody else is also possible for you. Don't think that you're different. Like it's that your dreams can't become realities, because that's absolutely not the case. It's very true. It's very real. And you can make your reality better than your dreams have ever been. That's literally the case for me. And I'm telling you, it's just the beginning for me too. And again, it was that personal development to know that it is just the beginning, so, but yeah, that my dreams were to be a professional ball player. And now I'm a professional player in a different sport.
Right on. I was about to say you're the Babe Ruth in a different dimension here. That's awesome, man. I had a Joe Gunkel. He's in the MLB, and then he moved over to he's playing baseball in Japan now. He's on episode 2, I believe. So I just posted that. Great player, great guy. So yeah, I definitely relate to the baseball thing. But I mean, that's powerful. That's powerful, man. I mean, I think, like you said, I think the best things in life are the things that are unexpected. The things that you are not necessarily, you never really thought you'd become where you are today, but you are, and it's just incredible. And I think when Napoleon Hill talks about that, autosuggestion and believing, writing down your goals and being specific with it. I think there's so much power in that. And just, I always tell people, one of my favorite things I've wrote in my book, The Memory and other things, is that you have to have such a belief in yourself and such a love for yourself, be a fan of you. And the quote is that you have to believe that you accomplishing your dreams is already a certain inevitability. You have to envision, like Napoleon Hill says, envision you doing exactly what you want to do. And I have one of my dreams, real quick, is to be a keynote speaker, and I literally have my speech written out, like the props I want, like everything, and I allow myself to meditate and to really visit three-dimensional, like whatever you want to say, in my mind, actually have that happen. I'm there. I'm picturing the people. I'm picturing the emotions involved with it. I'm letting myself feel it. And I think there's so much power when we do that, and we allow ourselves to be like, you know what? I believe in you. And, my preface in my book, that's what I end it with. I just say, sometimes people need to hear, I believe in you. There's so much power in that, whether it's from yourself, which is very important, but other people. You need to really have that sense of you can do it, like you said, that there is no such thing as impossibility. That the word itself says impossible. So, it's really like, sometimes the things are just right in our face. We just have to take away all the blinders society put on us, our parents, whatever the case is, and look at it from a raw perspective. And be like, well, you know what? This is possible. If he can do it, I can do it. So That's just incredible. And we talked about quotes and all this stuff. And the last question before we get into the last three that I asked everyone I interview is, it's about Jim Rohn. So you're a huge fan of him, and I remember you posted something. You said that he's like your best friend that you've never met, the best mentor you've never actually sat with. And you consider yourself a student of him, right? But one of my favorite quotes from Jim Rohn is, never wish life was easier, wish that you were better. And, when I share this sometimes, people are like, well, that sounds like, they get kind of offensive about it. But I think it's more like putting your feet to the fire to me, and it inspires me to evaluate how and where I can improve and what I need to do to become better, to become the man I need to be to accomplish whatever goal I'm working towards. So what is the best piece of advice or quote or mentorship that you've received from him or even another mentor?
From Jim Rohn, and I'll give you three pieces of advice or things I love that I live, again, my life off of. Jim Rohn, one is, if you do something enough, a ratio will appear. Life's a numbers game, and if you I love that quote. If you do something enough, a ratio will appear. See, in life, we grow up in school that if you get anything less than a 70% on a test, you fail. You're talking about you have to get 7 out of 10 right or you fail, which I think is very flawed in the real world, because in the real world, and Jim Rohn talks about this, 3 out of 10 in baseball, that's a 300 batting average. You're an all-star. And I think that in reality, in life, those numbers are more accurate. 3 out of 10 is some big numbers, and again, if you do something enough, you're going to realize what those numbers are, how many times you need to do something, how many people you need to talk to, how many hours you need to put in, or whatever it may be. A ratio will appear if you do something enough. Now, the two quotes, though, that I really do more than anything live by, both of these come from my parents. The first one comes from my dad. It has everything to do with belief. He says, if you believe, you're already, 90% there. As long as you believe. If you don't believe, it'll never happen. You have to have belief. And if you believe, you're already there. He always says, roll the dice. Roll the dice, roll the dice, roll the dice. Goes right along with the greatest risk in life is the one you don't take. So roll the dice, right? So that was my dad. My mom, she said, this is something that I hold very near and dear to me, because this is, and I kind of talked on it and touched on this before, but she says, if you hang with dogs, you'll get fleas. You hang around kings, you'll fall upon treasures. Now, my mom never let me hang out with the troublemakers, the kids that were always getting in trouble. I wasn't allowed to hang out with, those kids growing up, and those kids now, most of them are, in jail, prison, whatever it may be, right? And never let me hang out with them. And not in a judgmental way, but in a protecting me way. And all that really talks about is you're the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with, right? We all hear that. We all know that. If you've never heard that before, well, then pay attention to that. You are the average of the 5 people you surround yourself by. You are who you hang out with. And that's what, if you hang with dogs, you will get fleas, right? You hang with kings, you'll fall upon treasure. This is why I made that post on Facebook. If you make this certain amount, or if you know somebody, tag them here. I want to meet them. Why? Because I want to surround myself. I want to average up, right? I want to surround myself with the right people, because that is the most true thing that I've seen proven over and over and over and over and over again. If you hang out with 5 broke people, you're going to be the 6th broke person. Hang out with 5 rich people, you're going to be rich. That's all there is to it. And so you've got to surround yourself with the right people, and pay attention to who you're surrounding yourself with. Look at who you're surrounding yourself with right now. Who are your best friends? I look at, my family. My wife, she makes me average up, right? But I look at my daughter. My daughter is 2.5 years old, right? I spend a lot of time with her. I need somebody really successful, really at a high level to make up for that, right? And I say that as a joke, but I also say it to be real because some of you guys only surround yourself with just your kids. You know what I mean? Your 3-year-old kid or your 10-year-old is not going to help you grow in life. Like, you have to surround yourself with higher level people if you want to go to a higher level. So that's that's
It's
it.
amazing, man. The strongest trees have the sweetest fruit. Definitely, it shows here, man. You got some awesome parents. They told you that, and those quotes are gold. You know, I saw a video. It's really random, but it was a video of a rhino, and the rhino's baby was like meandering away from the rhino into the elephants, and the elephant got pissed off and was like running after it, making it go away, and you know, they got in this huge tussle. But the point in that, it kind of reminds you that if you hang around, you know, it should be obvious to you that, you know, you move good fruit away from rotten fruit. The rhino knows it's not an elephant, so it doesn't belong there. So I think, like you said, you have to go where you belong, and if you want to be successful, you belong with surrounding yourself with successful people in an environment that's fertile for success to grow. And I think that's very powerful and huge. And I also can relate with that. You know, growing up, my parents were probably too much so. My mom came to a party one time. It was the most embarrassing thing in the world, but I thank her for it. You know, shouldn't have been there. So it's great. That's awesome, man. I love those quotes too. I'm definitely going to share those in the description when I post this, because I really like those. And the last 3 questions, as I mentioned before, I asked everyone before I interview, are quick ones, but they are more so the deep calling the deep. They really get you to think. So the first one of these 3 is, let's say somehow you were given a wish from a genie, whatever, from God, and that wish was that you could change one thing about the world, and only one thing. What would you change?
I would replace all the negativity with positivity. I would get rid of negativity. That's simply, boom. That's it. If everything was positive, if everybody looked on the bright side, if everybody was optimistic, there was no such thing as being pessimistic. You know, there's a difference between being real and being negative. Okay, you can be real, you can understand a situation, but there's no reason for negativity. So if I could replace all negativity with all positivity, so everything was positive, everything was optimistic, that's what I would change.
I love that. And that's kind of goes right along with what we talked about in the very beginning, COVID. You know, you take a situation the world looks at negatively, and you know, you can create a positive from it. There's just so much power and perspective in how we consume things and then regurgitate them. So that's awesome. I agree. I would second that. So number 2 is, imagine that everyone in the whole world is listening right now. What is the one thing that you would make sure the world heard from you?
Believe and take risks.
Hmm.
Believe and take risks. Always be hopeful. Don't doubt. Always be positive. And again, everything that we've talked about this whole time is literally what I just talked about. And have grit and go make your dreams a reality. My biggest fear is regret. I don't want to be on my deathbed looking back at the way things could have been. You know, and I think that is almost everybody that's on their deathbed is there's a lot of regret. I don't want you to have regret. If you have dreams, go make them happen. You know, don't let life steal your dreams. You know, don't settle because I promise you do only live once. I mean, YOLO, right?
So true.
Go make it happen. You know what I mean? Don't ever settle, you know, and I love something that you said earlier with having the timeline, right? Like, man, go mark where you've been, mark where you're going, and go after it. You know, make sure that whenever you are on your deathbed, you can look back and you said, you know what, I left nothing on the table, and I am happy, I am blessed, and make sure that you don't have the regret.
Exclamation point. Amen to that. That's facts. And the last question I have for you, you know, this entire interview it's been rich, man. It's been amazing. So consistency is simply key to success. And, you know, every successful person I ever talk to follows some sort of routine on the daily. So the last question is, tell us briefly what that looks for you like. What are the things that you need to do every morning? or every night, whatever it may be?
Yeah. So my morning routine, my morning disciplines, so every morning, first off, I go to the gym. Well, first I do my quiet time. I do my prayer. I do my meditation. Whatever that may look like for you, that's what I do. I pray. I meditate. I go over my goals. And that's something I visualize. I always put myself. I spend 5 minutes every day, 5 years in my future. I spend probably an hour doing all of the personal stuff, such as, the personal development, the quiet time, the prayer, the meditation, the goals. I spend about an hour going through all of that. Then I hit the gym. I don't go a day without the gym. If for some reason there's a day that I'm not able to go to the gym, my wife will tell you, the world knows it. My mood's not there. My energy's not there. I feel it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It almost makes me feel sick. Like I have this feeling where I just need to run through a brick wall if I don't hit the gym. Which, by the way, if you might be the opposite. You might be in a situation to where it's hard to get back into the gym, or it's hard to get in the gym. And what I'll tell you is don't miss, go 90 days without missing a day in the gym, and you're going to get yourself into that routine to where you're going to hate yourself if you're not able to go to the gym. I pray for that for everybody. Health is so important, guys. But I go to the gym, and then, and I go over my numbers, and I look at my businesses, and I go through all that, my banking. I go through all of my business stuff, right? Look at the numbers on it, look at what I need to do for the day, and I set my day up. Now, my day is usually set up the night before, but that's whenever I kind of regroup, look at everything, and by about 1 o'clock is typically whenever I really hit the ground running with, my different businesses, whatever I got going on. Now, Kayani is my number one, my bread and butter. It's my network marketing company that I'm involved in, and that's my heart right there. But I work on my nonprofit every single day. I work on everything every single day. Bill Gates says that he's never taken a day off, when you do take a day off, like his days off are he's reading, right? He goes away for a week and he reads and he studies. But that's not taking a day off. A lot of people, they take their day off and they're not productive. I still get things done even on Sundays. Sundays are my days off. I do not work on Sundays, but that doesn't mean that I'm not productive. I don't get things done that need to be done. Sundays are the days that I regroup. It's where I study, where I set up my week, so that's a daily method of operation, guys, is very important.
Absolutely.
You need to figure that out, figure what it is for you, and stick to it, stay with it, and make sure if you're working that 9 to 5. Remember, your 9 to 5 is what's going to put food on the table, okay? But it's what you do after that 5 o'clock that's going to set you and your family up, with a better life. So, don't just work your 9 to 5. You gotta do more, and that comes after your 9 to 5.
That sounds like that's a stacked routine, and I know it reminds me of a thing I've watched by Gary Vee. He kind of breaks up in your hours outside the 9 to 5. That's when big things happen, and I 100% agree with that. And I see your whiteboard in the background. I love that. You have to have that consistency. It's like the mission of the river is to find the sea, and it never stops flowing. It makes its way back to the sea no matter what, stream, river to sea. And that's how I think that we should be our source, our main objective. We have to know and see it and constantly be flowing towards it no matter what way. The river does a lot of things, but it's still going to get there. So
yeah, and that whiteboard is in the kitchen so that we don't ever miss it. You know what I mean? So
I love it. It's well placed. Well placed.
Yeah.
That's good, man. I've so much enjoyed this time, and again, I appreciate you, taking the time to come on the show with us. And man, I'm just so happy, and I'm mostly excited for the other people listening, and them growing from it and taking, the hydration that you've provided and all the things that you've shared and like we talked about this whole time, and acting with it, not just hearing it, but doing something with what they take away from it. So I definitely look forward to chatting more, following along, and yeah. So thank you so much.
Absolutely. Well, thank you so much for having me. And guys, everybody that's listening, go make your reality better than your dreams are.
Hey, man. I love that closing right there. It's perfect.
There you go.
Like those dreams. All right, brother. Well, you enjoy the rest of your afternoon. And when you come to Italy or back to Europe, whenever this ends, you got to let me know.
Yes, sir. Will do.
All right, brother. Talk soon.
Yes, sir. Talk to you later.
All right. Ciao, ciao.
Bye-bye.